Lil Jon's most successful song of all time,
Watch this.
he says 12 words total. In his second most successful song of all time, he says just 19 unique words. But truthfully, most people would associate him with the 3 most basic words in the English language.
What?
Yeah! What? Okay!
Now, people often criticize rappers for having small vocabularies, on the basis that less words equals less talent. But Lil Jon isn't a rapper, and some would argue that being able to build a legacy as iconic as his on such few words is actually more difficult, especially when you consider he kinda did this all by accident. Stay hydrated. Lil Jon is known for his energy, hype, and love for partying, with iconic lines like, "If you ain't getting drunk, get the fuck out the club." He carried that same energy throughout his early years. In high school, he loved punk rock music, spending his weekend
Holy Chad. Holy.
in mosh pits at Agent Orange shows. And considering his love for partying, what's more important to a party than a DJ? At age 16, Lil Jon taught himself how to DJ in his parents' basement. They used to let him throw his own parties under their supervision rather than let him be in the streets somewhere. And that proved to be the right decision, because as Lil Jon got into his 20s, his skills would impress someone who would change his life forever. Jon landed a regular DJ gig at Club Phoenix in downtown Atlanta. It was at Club Phoenix where he was scouted by rapper, producer, and executive Jermaine Dupri. Although Dupri was impressed by his DJing, he actually wanted him to be an A&R. When it came to A&R, all I could think about was Lil Jon, because he was the person in the clubs. He knew people. DJs knew him. I had to hire him. An A&R's job is essentially to recruit and discover talent for the labels to sign. But So So Def was not even close to a well-established label, and Lil Jon didn't see this as a promising career path. He actually was considering enrolling in Georgia State University, and even took some courses at Fort McPherson through Georgia Military College. But Dupri greenlit an album for $100,000 and gave Lil Jon full creative control. So a music career was on the horizon. With that money, Lil Jon linked with some of the best producers, DJs, and artists in the underground Atlanta scene to create the So So Def Bass All-Stars album. As you can imagine, it was an album full of dancey fun bangers, perfect for the club. You probably recognize track 2.
Wait. Chat, that sounds like shake that ass for Drake, now shake that ass for me.
My Boo by Ghost Town DJs became known for the Running Man Challenge, a viral dance that absolutely dominated the internet in 2016, bringing it to number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100 20 years later. Lil Jon produced that song 2 decades earlier. However, in 1996, the album was also pretty popular. It climbed to the 9th spot on the R&B and hip-hop chart in 20 became known. You probably recognize track 2.
Yeah. It has a fast BPM, but it's sampled. The loop, I'm a musical genius, brother. Guys, if you want to hire me, chat, guys, I don't give a fuck.
My Boo by Ghost Town DJs became known for the Running Man Challenge, a viral dance that absolutely dominated the internet in 2016, bringing it to number 27 on the Billboard Hot 100 20 years later. Lil Jon produced that song 2 decades earlier. However, in 1996, the album was also pretty popular. It climbed to the 9th spot on the R&B and hip-hop chart, solidifying Lil Jon's presence and influence in the music industry. Jon was known all around the country for turning up clubs with the songs he produced. Now it was time for him to jump on the mic. The group Lil Jon and the East Side Boys was formed, with him and his 2 childhood friends, Big Sam and Lil Bo. We'd be the rowdy crowd in the club. So Lil Jon told me and Bo we were going to do a song, Who You With. I was like, okay, we'll do a song and that'll be it. And a couple weeks later, they came back and said, we want you guys to do an album. So we did an album. I don't know why he chose us. I'm just glad he did. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys put out their first record independently, starting with Get Crunk, Who You With, the album, in 1997. The album was jam-packed with records that talked about shaking ass and getting lit, complemented by production containing simple synth melodies, repetitive claps, and lots of bass.
Bounce that ass, shake your booty. Who You With intro, Who You With them. Shouty a little something intro. Shouty freak a little something.
bass. They ended up selling 100,000 singles and 40,000 albums on their own. They had the underground in a chokehold because their records were fun. They reduced the idea of having intricate verses to fun chants that everyone in the club would memorize before the song was over. Put Yo Hood Up, Move Bitch, and Bia Bia were perfect examples of this.
True.
But even still, by this point, Lil Jon never considered himself a rapper, which is ironic because this was arguably the most rapping he ever did, and would ever do in his career. Crunk music was about a hot beat, a hot hook, and something people could chant along with. Crunk is best defined as a fusion of Miami bass and Memphis buck roughneck chants backed with 808 beats and humming bass. Lil Jon was able to fuse the energy of bass music with street rap and came up with Crunk. But most of us were introduced to Lil Jon in 2002 with the track Get Low alongside the Yin Yang Twins on the album Kings of Crunk. In the early 2000s, the music video was more important than ever. Many of you probably remember the days of turning on MTV and just seeing what new songs would pop up. The video for Get Low showed Lil Jon's over-the-top outfit, cane, and signature iced out cup full of who knows what. This video sent the song all the way to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Lil Jon became the most requested artist for radio DJs, and since he was a DJ himself, they were more than happy to play his tracks. Shake That Monkey peaked at 84 on the Billboard Hot 100. Salt Shaker peaked at number 9. Damn peaked at number 4, which was an anthem to taunt your ops in the club. 2003, Lil Jon was on fire, and everyone in the industry wanted him on their song if they wanted it to go crazy in the club, and Usher was the first artist to truly capitalize on that. At the time, Usher was an R&B sensation who had slow and sensual songs topping the charts, but he wasn't exactly being played in the clubs. Lil Jon was about to change that when they linked up and made a song called Yeah, with the hook focusing on one of Jon's iconic ad-libs repeating 12 times. But they needed a rapper to certify this as a club smash, so they sent it over to Ludacris.
Lil Jon sent me the record, you know, with Usher's lyrics on there. Another record instantly, as soon as I heard it, I was in my house in Atlanta. Instantly, I was like, this shit is out of here. It took me no time to write my verse for it. And I was like, this is such a smash, I gotta be on more than just a verse.
Yeah spent an astonishing 12 weeks at the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100. Yeah is a true anthem of the early 2000s and at every awkward middle school dance. It was on every list of the top songs of the decade and is easily one of the most iconic hip-hop club records of all time. From there, he had even more Billboard success with songs named after his ad-libs, Let's Go and OK. He also had Kulo with Pitbull, Lovers and Friends, and What You Gon' Do. Whether it was a song to get the gangsters hype or the ladies to dance, Lil Jon had the music industry in the palm of his hands. But it wasn't technically his music that solidified Lil Jon as a cultural phenomenon. It was Dave Chappelle. On Season 2, Episode 6 of The Chappelle Show, Dave premiered a skit called A Moment in the Life of Lil Jon.
Are you checking any luggage today, sir?
Yeah!
Did you pack the bags yourself?
Yeah!
And the bags have been in your possession the whole time?
What?
I'll never forget the morning after this episode aired. It seemed like everyone in my school was mimicking this skit, yelling what, yeah, and okay. Because of Dave Chappelle, people who had no idea who Lil Jon was knew him as the guy who said what, yeah, and okay. A Moment in the Life of Lil Jon became a go-to recurring bit for Dave's show. He reimagined the skit in Season 2, Episode 7 and Episode 13 alongside the real Lil Jon. Keep in mind, The Chappelle Show averaged 3.1 million viewers per episode in 2004, just shy of Saturday Night Live's 3.7 million, but his cultural impact reached far and beyond that. At the time, Dave Chappelle was comedy. Whatever he thought was funny, America thought was funny. And Lil Jon was one of the most successful bits he ever did. Jon even says Dave changed his life.
I was talking about it to him that night, you know, every time I see him, I tell him, you know, like that night, I was like, you ruined my life.
Now, the reason why Lil Jon jokingly says Dave ruined his life is because of, well, this.
What?
Nigga, you sound like a bird. It's like,
What?
nigga, you sound like a fucking dying bird.
Is there anything that you say that you get so annoyed with that fans scream to you?
What?
Yeah.
What is the most annoying ever?
Lil Jon was kind of turned into a meme, which definitely helped his brand recognition, but was likely very annoying over the years to have random people shout at you obnoxiously when you're at the airport or dinner with your family. To make things even worse, the crunk era was dying quickly. For the next few years, Lil Jon had some popular songs in rotation, such as Girl Fight, Snap Your Fingers, and Go to Church. Although the songs
Oh,
made
shit.
during the
Banger.
snap/crunk era are nostalgic to look back on, the subgenre was very one-dimensional, and it's honestly surprising how long it remained popular.
Bangers.
Songs were repetitive, with basic call and response chants, the beats all started to sound the same, and artists lacked the versatility necessary to maintain a fan base. And although Lil Jon was a pioneer of the genre, he needed to pivot or he would get left behind. Since Jon was a producer, he was able to stay in the mix with people who were pushing the next sound, and as we approach the 2010s, we got this new wave of feel-good rap, pop, dance, and cheesy electronic sounds coming from the likes of Flo Rida, Pitbull, and LMFAO. These iconic
hell
songs
no.
became timeless wedding and prom bangers, and Lil Jon's iconic ad-libs and hype energy fit right into these tunes. Crazy, the anthem, Do You Remember, and you can't forget the legendary Shots. I bet most of you watching remember Lil Jon
I
from
hate
this
that
era
song.
of his career. And if you think the crunk era went fast, these came and went even faster. One homecoming, one prom, and a wedding, and you never want to hear Pitbull ever again. Music was changing faster than ever as we approached the internet age. As we passed 2010, EDM festivals started becoming bigger and bigger. EDM DJs were often playing Lil Jon and Pitbull's songs Crazy in the
Chat. Pitbull got on my nerves, but you gotta give it to him, chat. His songs were all hits. Guys, they get annoying really fast, right? But they're generic, but they gotta hit hard, bro.
anthem. You also
Chat,
have to
you gotta
remember
give
Lil
him credit,
Jon
chat.
at his core
They
is a
do
DJ,
hit,
so he
though.
was very curious to enter the
Even
new
just
wave
once.
of open format DJs, which is basically just a
Chat,
DJ
it's
who
a
plays
Mr.
any and all
Worldwide.
genres rather than just sticking to one. In 2011, he collaborated with Laidback Luke and Steve Aoki
Chat.
on the track Turbulence, which was a huge anthem that year. He started going to massive festivals and performing alongside the DJs he knew. Plus, many upcoming EDM producers in all subgenres, from dubstep to dirty Dutch house to EDM trap, would often sample Lil Jon. His three iconic ad-libs were the perfect vocal chops to complement the energy that these EDM subgenres
He
displayed.
had some good
While
energy
people
for
often
sure.
use this vocal shot from the song I'm the Ish by DJ Class.
Put your fucking hands up!
This was the go-to sample right before the beat drop in like 50% of EDM songs that year. But the one EDM track that changed his life was one sent over from DJ Snake. Snake sent Lil Jon a track that had a sample from Redman that said,
Oh, this the countdown, bang the underground.
he wanted Lil Jon to just re-say this phrase, but Jon didn't think the sample fit the energy of the track. On his first listen, he just blurted out, "Turn down for what?" and knew it was a smash. Only Lil Jon can say
No,
4 words
I
into a
forgot about
mic
that,
and know
chat.
that it's going to be a hit record.
Chat.
He added
Oh man, chat, that took over the internet for so long. I can't. I'm
to a
getting
mic and know
chills.
that it's going to be a hit record. He added 8 more
I
words
can't.
that most of you probably don't even care about. Fire up that loud, another round of shots. But DJ Snake didn't like it. Jon asked Snake to just trust him. They started playing the song at their DJ sets, and the crowd would go nuts.
It was one of the few records I've ever had that when I played it in my sets, every time another DJ came up to me like, yo,
Begging.
what is that?
Yes,
Let me
begging.
get that. Let me get that.
This song's popularity was also accelerated by Vine users, with the First Lady even making a video
Chat,
to
the
it.
boat video.
Turn
Chat.
up for what?
10 years after his first #1 song with Usher, Lil Jon went #1 on the Billboard Hot Dance and Electronic chart for 12 weeks. 1 week for every word he said on the song. Lil Jon was already an icon in hip-hop. This record made him an icon in EDM, and these days he has a much bigger presence there than in hip-hop. EDM DJs will send him a record to scream one of his iconic phrases before the drop, and he takes 50% of the revenue for the song. And he deserves it, because a Lil Jon sample will always get people rowdy. Today, Lil Jon's life is pretty unpredictable. He's become a big fan of the side quest. He has a successful TV show on HGTV
Wait, really?
where he showcased his unique vision and design expertise, surprising the world with his eye for interior aesthetics. He created his own wine label, Little Jonathan Winery, that reflects his unique style and brought a touch of sophistication to his brand.
Okay,
you might even
well,
catch him lecturing at prestigious universities such as Oxford. In music, the less words...
It's all dog shit, but it's just marketed, packaged dog shit. It's just America in a nutshell. It is what it is.
Lil Jon said,
I
the more
respect it. It is what
successful
it
he
is.
was, and he secured a well-deserved legacy from that. But these days, he's got a lot more to say, and we owe it to him to listen.
They gonna say that at my funeral. They gonna be like, he was a good man. Yeah! I said he was a good man. What? Man, he rest in peace. Okay.
That dude, how does do it so good?
Man, he rest in peace.
Dude,
Okay.
that okay is dude. That's something else. I know he made it, but still.
Man, he rest in peace. Okay.
It's almost harmonious.